Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here with another episode of Murder, Makeup, and Moscato. This time, we're going to be talking about Mr. Fix It Man. Do you have anything that needs to be fixed in your house?
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even bother?
Auntie that lies, sweet old auntie. Auntie that waits. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, hello, everybody, and this is Auntie. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. To all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining the family. And to all of my nieces and nephews who have been here with me for the long haul, and my members, thank you all so much for your continued support. You all, this one that I've got to tell you all is just, oh my God, I'm sure that many of you all have heard about this at some time in your life. Well, this is Web of Lies, Mr. Fix It Man, Season 2, Episode 2. Let's get into it. So, this beautiful lady that's sitting behind me, her name is Leslie Belkins. She had a little girl by the name of Rachel. She was living in upstate New York and decided that it was just time for her to change her life, change her environment. She did not want to grow up in New York anymore. She felt like it was unsafe. And so she wanted to move to a place where she could have a more simple, quiet life. So she scanned all down, up and down the map to try to find a place that she thought would be suitable for her and her little girl, Rachel, to move to. Now, Rachel's mother was very concerned and said, "You know what? I don't believe that you need to move and all that kind of stuff." And she was like, "Mom, I've got to do it. You did a great job with me, but I want to do a better job with my daughter." And so the two of them traveled 4 states over. Okay, I believe it was the four, five, six, seven. I don't know, damn it. And they landed in a little small, quiet town by the name of Troutman, North Carolina. She surveyed the land. She thought that this was the perfect place. Her daughter was excited. It was a small town of under 2,000 residents, occupants, and she just was excited about it. She was like, hey, she, was a medical assistant in New York, and she just really wanted a quieter life. And so, as she, was there, her, she was trying to reach out to friends and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of that, she was unsuccessful in doing so because she didn't know anybody there. She didn't have an opportunity to get out. And I don't remember why the hell she said she didn't, but she didn't have an opportunity to get out. Oh, I know why. Because she said she didn't smoke, she didn't drink, she didn't party, she didn't club, she had a little girl. So, basically she was like, I'm just, at home by myself. So she decided that she would go to what, y'all? The web to find her a lover, a homie lover friend, a ride or die. Okay. A boyfriend, a boo thing. Okay. And so she took to, of all things, Craigslist. and she put an ad out on Craigslist, single female looking for a white, a white male and all that kind of stuff, right? And so, she began to search and she was looking at different men and stuff, and they just weren't doing it for her. And then all of a sudden, she got a pop up from a man by the name of George. Hollywood writer, okay, Hollywood lover, okay, dot one, point one. So after, she got, excuse me, y'all, 1 second. Hi, everybody. So after she, met this gentleman, George, she began to talk to him, but she wanted to take her time. Now, all of these women claim that they want to take their time, but they show rush in fast. They say only a fool rushes in. So anyway, she decides that, she's going to talk to him. And so she's talking to him online. She said he seemed very sweet, intelligent, all that kind of stuff. He just had all the whole kit and caboodle as far as she was concerned. And so she was very anxious to meet George. So they set it up so that they will have a nice little rendezvous. Okay. So she meet George. And he was an older gentleman, and she was like, "Oh my God, like he's the sweetest and everything." And he said, "You know what? I want to introduce you to my family." So when a mofo introduces you to their family, it's a really big deal, right? After you've been dating for a while, but when you meet the family on the first date, okay, eyebrows raised, bitch. So, she goes to the house and everything, and she meets the brother and the sister-in-law, and they're really nice. And she's like, these are the type of people that I wanted to meet. These are the kind of people I wanted to hang around with. And so as she began to, talk to George and everything, he's nice and all that. When Leslie moved to Troutman, North Carolina, she had rented an apartment, but she had enough money from living in New York that she began to build an estate. Okay. She was building a home. And so, in the middle of building the home and all of that, she would go out there all the time and she would check on it. Let me see when they laid the foundation, when they put up the first wall, all of that. She was just excited. She now had a boyfriend, or at least somebody that, she could talk to and hang with. Her friend group began to expand because she was hanging around with George and his family and all of that. So one day, Leslie was at a picnic with the family, and they were cooking out, and she began to ask him, things about George. And he said, well, when he was younger, he was rambunctious, and he had his little scuffles with the law, if you will. And so, she was like, "Oh, and so he was like, don't say nothing like that, brother. You're gonna mess up, run my little girlfriend away." And so, the brother was, looking like with the side eye, like, okay. So she figured, everybody has a past and all of that kind of stuff, giving him the benefit of the doubt. The brother and the sister-in-law hadn't said anything else because basically George shut that down. Okay. So, she went back home, and of course everything was lovely and everything. And one day she went out to contact George on the internet, and George was unavailable. She typed, "George, George, oh George, where are you, George?" So she hadn't heard from George for 3.5 weeks. Oh, well, where could George be? So anyway, she's looking for George and everything, right, y'all? And so she doesn't hear from him. She moves on with her life, and she's thinking, you know what? I don't know what happened. Then all of a sudden, she gets a bleep on her computer, and lo and behold, it is in George. And so she's like, "George, where were you at? I have no idea where you were, and and all of that kind of stuff." And so George was like, "I'm good, boo. I'm good. Everything, lovely, everything, I just look at George. Would you please look at George?" So of course, she was like, "Oh my God, George, what happened to you?" And he was like, "I was doing this, I was doing that. I'm back." So he began to pursue her with all the strength Okay, all the blood, all the breath in his body, he began to pursue her. And so, of course, her wanting to give this man the benefit of the doubt, she let him come back up into her life again. And so, everything was going well. She said that her knees was hurting. Her house was built now, and it was time for her to move out of her apartment. And George was like, I got that. Anything that was wrong in the house, I got that. George was fixing stuff. He was, fixing window sills. He was just doing it all, doing the most. And not only that, she had allowed George to meet her daughter, Rachel. And she said that when Rachel couldn't walk around, he would lift her, joyfully lift her up. He would read her books at night, and he would do knick-knack and paddywhack and bitch. He would just give a dog a pound. And so, she was moving from her apartment, and she said that her knees was hurting and everything from all of the moving and packing and all of that kind of stuff. And so George said, I got that, boo. I got that. So she was like, okay, this is phenomenal. This is fantastic. My man, my Mr. Fix It is, my handyman, and he is doing what he do with the whoop whoop and the boop boop boop. So one day, Leslie is at home. She decides that she wants to make a little phone call to the brother because George had begun to start acting weird. But before we get to the acting weird, George had told Leslie that he would move her into the house and that he would clean the apartment up for her. Well, ladies, we always want a good man, a good, strong man that's going to help us. And so she said, you know what, boo? Ding-a-ling-ling-ling. Here get the keys. I'm in my new home. I'm trying to decorate it, be comfortable in it. And George, I'm going to give you my keys, and you go ahead on and do what you got to do with the woo whoop and the boo boo boo. And so, George does that, and he comes back to the house and everything. And he's like, hey, I got some boxes and some things that I need to store at your house. And she said, George, no, you can't store a goddamn thing at my house, but you can store it in my garage. Bitch, your garage is your house. It's attached to the house. It's adjacent to the house. Okay? Your garage is your house. It may not be sitting in your dining room, but you should have told the mofo no. But anyway, so George comes with her items and her boxes, and he's got a couple of things, with that. And he says, I'm going to leave it in the garage. And she never goes out and checks this. So anyway, that's besides the point. So now, it's been a couple of weeks and everything since her move. And no, about a week since her move. And she's like, George is acting very weird. I don't know what the hell is going on with George. And so, of course, George shows up, and he's got this, new car. And she was like, George, where'd you get this new car from? And he was like, a friend, he's let's say he's a military man. And, he just left me his car because, he doesn't have any use for it. So, I'm just driving this bitch around and everything. And so she was like, oh, okay. And she was like, George, for some reason, they did not collect the trash. And he was like, well, did you call both trash? Did you call the county to make sure that the trash can be picked up? And she was like, oh my God, I totally forgot to do that. I'll make sure I do that in the morning. He said, you know what? I'll do it. You know what? Leave me be. I got this. Okay. Leave me be. I got this. So she was like, all right then, George. So she goes into the house and everything, and she does it. And George is outside. George has dug a ditch down into the ground, and is now dragging all of the stuff out of the garage and putting it down in the ground because he is going to burn her trash. And so she's like, oh my God, George, what are you doing? Rachel plays there. Why would you dig the hole there? You should have dug the hole somewhere else, George. And George was like, don't worry about it. Don't come closer. Bitch, step back. Okay, step back. This is fire dangerous. I got this. Going in the house. So she goes in the house and everything. And then, George starts dropping off and everything. So she calls the brother and was like, hey, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hey, how you do? Yeah, how you doing, boo? I have not seen George. Is he over there? You thought he was with me. He ain't with me. I mean, he's been missing in action lately. He said that he was going to help me move, remember? And he didn't help me move. He showed up a couple of days, and so he apologized and everything, and said that he would go over to the house and clean up for me and everything to make up for it. But I mean, lately he's been like really weird. But no, George don't live here with me. What you heard? Where'd you get that from? No, he doesn't live here with me. He does, sleep with me from time to time. Mr. Clean Up Man, my handy baby, my Mr. Fix It bitch. Okay. Oh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, so you, okay, wait, hold on for 1 second. Hold on. Who is it? George. Uh, there he go right there. Speaking of the devil, the bitch that showed up at the house. I'm going to call you back later, all right there? All right there, go. Go. George, where have you been? I've been doing, whatever. So George tells her he been doing, little things and odds and ends, and he's been working on, different things. So then she's suspicious. The brother calls her back later on, and he tells her, I need you, you called, and I'm a little concerned. I need you to check the police record. Do a background check on my brother, y'all. It's just some things you need to know. Well, I mean, he's so sweet and all. There's some things you need to know. Now, we tried to drop you a couple of bricks before, but this time we're going to have to put the whole damn house on your ass. I need you to do a background check on my brother. So Leslie goes in and she does a background check. She finds out that this mofo got a criminal record as big as the Empire State Building, bitch. He's been locked up multiple times. But the thing that really stops her, really gives her pause, is that one of them was an assault case against a woman. And so Leslie's like, oh, hell to the nah. This mofo, I can't fuck with him. I'm gonna have to let him go. So George comes over to the house and everything, and I mean, calls her on the phone, and she tells George, you know what, George, I did a background check on your ass. Oh, baby, why'd you do that? Because your brother told me to. Basically, I'm snitching. Okay, I really need to get stitches because bitches get that snitch get stitches. And so, now what is going on with this? So now, she tells him, and he was like, those were just little petty crimes, little things. And she said, but no, George, I saw an assault on it. And George was like, it was just a misunderstanding. It was just a misunderstanding. So she was like, you know what, George, leave me alone. I don't want to mess with you anymore. I just ain't got time, right? I want to do me. I want peace, and I just want to take care of my daughter. And she hangs up. Like that's the end of it. 2 hours later, her phone is ringing. Bring, bring, bitch, bring. Answer, bring the king. Hello? I'm outside your house, bitch. So she goes to the curtain. Open the door. George, no. You need to leave. I am not opening the door. What the what the fuck are you doing? I want you to open the door. So he's got the lights on the car. He's revving the fucking engine and everything. And she's like, no, George, leave me alone. I'm going to call the police. He said, bitch, don't you call the police. Bitch. George, leave. So she hangs up the phone. She's got back in the bed with her daughter. This mofo out there revving the engine like a mofo, like he about to run a tractor truck through her house. Now she's scared of it. 911. 911. So George leaves. She goes back to bed. Next thing you know, who is it, mommy? Lay down, baby. It's okay. Everything is fine. Okay. Mommy, are you sure? Mommy, I'm scared. It's okay. I got this. So she goes, to the door. Sheriffs. 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 What the fuck are the sheriffs doing here? Hello. Hi. Are you Leslie Belkins? Yes. Have you ever heard of this woman or seen this woman? Um, what woman are you talking about? Hold on, y'all. Let me get my little stuff together. I gotta give it all to you. Okay. This woman. No, I've never heard of her before. I've never Bonnie Lou. No, I don't. I'm not familiar with her. He said, well, we did her phone records. She's been missing for 14 days. We checked all of her phone records and everything, and it appears that the last place that she was at 51 Livingston Court. Well, that's the apartment that I was renting. I mean, I've been in my home now for almost 2 weeks, well, 2 weeks now, going on three. He said, well, that was the last place that, she was. Are you sure you don't know her? I'm positive that I do not know her. I don't know who she is. He said, well, you know what? We would like to search your house. She said, bitch, not tonight. I done already been scared up in this mofo. Not tonight. And plus, you need a warrant. He said, okay, we'll be back tomorrow with a warrant to check your house. Meantime, in between time, they come back the next day with the search warrant that they need. They go to her house and they check. They go out to the garage. There's boxes and bags out in the garage. They begin to go through the boxes that are outside in this bitch's garage and been sitting in this bitch's garage. So that they look through and they find Bonnie's driver's license and other personal items that belong to her inside of the boxes that were hers. Bitch! He said, I thought you said you didn't know her. She said, I didn't. That was my boyfriend. My boyfriend wouldn't clean my apartment. What the hell? My boyfriend wouldn't clean my apartment up. And these are things that he found. He brought these things in here. I don't know. He said, okay, well, we need to search. So they begin to search her grounds. Because at this point now, the gig is up, Leslie. Now everybody is looking at Leslie like suspect number one, bitch. We don't know anything about the boyfriend. We know you. We know that the last place that she ever was seen was in your apartment. Okay, the last place where her cell phone dinged the tower was at that damn apartment. Leslie, you about to go down like a month, okay? So they go outside and they notice that there's a patch in the grass. And they're like, okay, what the hell's going on? So they begin to do a search. They call in the backup team, bitch, the diggers, okay? The diggers go in and they are digging like a muck back there. What they find is that there is shallow ground where there was trash burned, right? 6 feet deep. But what really just makes everybody's blood run cold was that under that 6 foot hole was another 6 foot shallow grave with trash bags in it. They pull the trash bags out of the ground and they see hair fibers. They go and do tests. And of course, it's our girl Bonnie. It appears that Bonnie has been deceased now for 14 days, just the right amount of time. So now there is a motherfucking manhunt looking for George Lamp, the Craigslist killer. Meanwhile, in between time, as they begin to pull up the records, remember when George was gone for 3.5 weeks? Well, let me tell you why George was gone for 3.5 weeks. George had put another ad out on Craigslist indicating that he was a paralegal and he was looking for an assistant. Renee Blanchard saw that ad on Craigslist and decided, I need me a job. And so she goes and she applies for the job. She meets him. His brother, George had told his brother, I need you to drop me off at the gas station, bitch. So the brother was like, fine, I'll drop you off at the gas station. So Renee, who is looking to be doing an interview, all dressed up and interview ready, sees George pull up out of the car. And when he gets out of the car, he's got on jeans and dungarees. He's looking scruffy like a mofo. And she's like, the hell is going on? Why is George looking like this, bitch? He says that he works for a major company. And he's showing up looking like this. So maybe he's just trying not to intimidate me. So she meets the brother. The two of them talk. They do what they do with the whoop whoop and the boop boop boop. And then this mofo, gets in the car with her and says, let's just go for a ride. Renee says, sure. She gets in the car and she's driving. And the next thing you know, he takes her down a dead-end road because George knows the back roads of Troutman, bitch. So he takes her down a road, a back-end road, and he puts a knife into her side. Bitch. She's got a knife in her side and he says, pull over. She don't know if he gonna poke her. She don't know. So she cooperates. He takes the knife and takes her out of the car. He throws her into the back seat and he begins to strategically tie her hands and tie her feet and all of that kind of stuff. And she in the back of that mofo screaming like I don't know what. And he begins to shut her up, to knock her out. Renee said she knew if she stayed in that mofo car, bitch, that she was not going to walk up out of that camp alive. She said the only thing that her mind could do was to think how to get up out of here. So he drives her to another undisclosed location. And of course, she's all bound up. Her arms are bound up. Everything's bound up. And so he takes the rope off of her legs. He pulls her panties down. And Renee's like, oh my God, he is really about to do this. I fucked up. The only thing is, the bitch can't perform. He can't giddy it up. He can't pry it up. He can't pump it up. It's soft as a cotton ball. He's standing out there looking like some silly putty, bitch. She said, thank God. He's a non-performer. All the excitement and the thrill of what he thought he was going to do to her, God fixed it. Can we say God fixed it? Hallelujah. God fixed it for Renee. Renee said, now I got to strategize like a mother. I got to get out the back of this car. She said, I got to pee. I have to pee. I got to use the bathroom. He said, I'm not falling for that again. At that point, Renee knew that this mofo right here is a repeat offender. This isn't his first time doing this. So she said, please, I'm begging you. I got to pee. So he said, I'm going to let you pee, but you better not try anything. So Renee says she begins to squat down. She said, I can't use the bathroom with you looking. He said, hurry up. Renee says when she squatted down, that was the fastest 1,100 1 meter, 1 trillion teeter dash that she ever did in her goddamn life. She said she was running and booking, and he was running. Help me! Help! 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 God, help! 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 Renee got up to somebody's minivan with the whole family up in that mofo and jumped up in there. They called the police and they were able to catch him. He went to jail, but he decided to plead, to take a plea deal. The plea deal was, um, I can't even remember what it was. Why didn't I write that down? He took a plea deal for a lesser charge. So he was not charged for anything he attempted to do. Renee says she pleaded with the public defender. She pleaded with the judge, pleaded with them because he had taken this lesser charge. The lesser charge gave him a sentencing of, instead of a couple of years, 3 months. So when Leslie was talking to him on the internet and he was gone for that three months period, that's where the fuck he was. So after he got out of jail, he came back and he continued to pursue her. Son of a bitch. So they begin to do a wild manhunt. They're looking for George with everything that they have, right? And so what they do is, they go to the brother. They was like, "Where's the woman at, bitch? Where's the woman?" The brother was like, "What woman?" He was like, "Where is she? Where is she?" He doesn't know anything about it. Nobody knows where the woman is. So they begin to go on the computer. They're looking for him and they get a kit off Craigslist. They go and they find he was doing a rendezvous with yet another woman. They ride up on him. A police officer saw the tags and said, "Bitch, these tags don't look right. It's a Volvo, but the tags don't match a Volvo. The tags are assigned to a Toyota, bitch." When they go up on him, he's up at the car. "Auntie? Hey, Auntie, how you doing? Pleased to meet you." "Hey, George, how you doing?" They jumped up out of there before he snatched Auntie's soul. During the investigation, and they locked him up. During the investigation, they learned that he had lured our girl, Bobby Lou, Bonnie Lou, into the house. Bonnie Lou had an antique business, and she was suffering. Her business was going down. And she decided, you know what, I got to make ends meet. And so she got into the escort business. She decided that, you know what, I'm gonna drop it low and spread it wide because I need to survive and I need to save my business. And so because of that, she was putting out and answering Craigslist ads. And she met him, and he brought her to the apartment that he was supposed to be cleaning up. Upon doing an autopsy, they learned that she had been strangled and that she had blunt trauma wounds to her face and her head. George went to court, was charged in this crime, and had received the death sentence. He was sentenced to death in Troutman, North Carolina. Okay. Okay. I don't know what I hit. Let's see. Is it still the same, Mary? Mary, is this true? Okay. So we're back. I apologize. I won't do that again, okay? So he got the death sentence, and I believe he passed away while in jail, and I believe it was 2018. But I need to check that for you all real quick because I want to give you that accurate information. So George Lamp, who was who was sentenced, so George Lamp, who was sentenced in 2014, um, um, in 2014 died of natural causes. They were never able. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. I apologize for the high pitched noise. I love you all to pieces. Hopefully you were able to hear um something. Okay.